Welcome back. As we promised, we are going to continue covering the developments taking place in the Middle East, particularly after the UN Security Council held an emergency session to tackle the latest violence and the incidents which took place less than 2 days ago with the Iranian side attacking Israel. To shed more light on the conflict and to shed more light on the UN Security Council emergency meeting and what was said there by the members of the UN Security Councils, and particularly the United States, Iran, and Israel. We are very much delighted to have with us via phone His Excellency Ambassador Ayman Mosharafa, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you very much for being with us, Ambassador Mosharafa.
Good morning for you and good morning for the viewer.
A very good morning to you, sir. Before going into detail, sir, because this is going to take me to how we are going to cover together the incidents which took place in the past 48, or to be accurate, 36 hours. Do you see what took place from the Iranian side toward the Israeli side? It was a real threat, it was real attacks, or it was a calculated military operation for other political reasons?
Actually, I could say that this reprisal came after the Israeli attack on the consulate in Damascus, which is a breach of international law and a breach of the Vienna Diplomatic Convention of 1961. The Iranian reprisal, actually, I think it is very calculated, but it has realized targets. First of all, the first strategic target that they have proved that Iran could reach Israel with missiles for the first time after maybe 4 decades, taking in account that Saddam Hussein did it in 1990 without results. And the second, they are testing their missile capability and their missile ability to reach the Israeli airspace. Third, they have reached some airports in the Nakib. The Nakib area is a deserted area without a concentration of civilian or important targets. Nevertheless, they just touched up the Ramon airports. So I think, in my own opinion, the Iranians, they were just doing a face-saving attack, just to please their internal constituency, that after many, many reprisals and many attacks of Israel against Iranian targets, it's not the first. We have hundreds of ones before. They have killed many Iranian scientists inside Iran itself. They did many operations. So it was just a face-saving formula. But nevertheless, it has reached a certain strategic target. For Israel, I think this has served the Israeli purpose for one reason. First of all, it has hardened the public opinion and gathered them, and Netanyahu is gambling on it, because as long as the war continues, Netanyahu stays in power. The second and most important, today the American Congress is trying to pass a bill to send more ammunition and aid to Israel.
Yes.
So, as just pull the American public opinion, who is just cracking after the Israeli attacks in Gaza. So both sides, this attack was a calculated attack and realized certain results.
This is what I'm talking about, sir, because what took place after the Iranian attack on Israel is for the best interest of Israel by all means. I mean, to drag the attention of what the Israeli genocide war and its continuation, killing more Palestinians, with more of the demonstrators from the Israeli inside regarding the hostages they now returned home because of this danger they are facing from the Iranian side, the package of aid, as you've kindly mentioned, from the Congress. I mean, you name it. So what took place really, it was for, and whenever we are talking about an attack which included more than 300 missiles and drones and stuff like that, there is no one fatality. There is no major damages. And all the attacks were already known before, as we all read the statements released by Joe Biden himself when he said Iran is going to attack Israel sooner than later, and just a few hours after that, the American troops already headed to the Middle East to support their closest ally. If you agree with me on that.
Yes, it was, I mean, a kind of open attack. When there is a saying in Arabic, if you want to attack, you don't say.
Yes.
I mean, you do. But actually, some Arab channels, they have just filmed the Iranian drones taking off from the Iraqi-Iranian borders and coming through up the Iraqi airspace and Jordanian airspace. So it was actually on the air, and the Israelis were exactly knowing the points of entry and everything. So they shot down most of the drones, most of the missiles. And really, you know, usually one drone have caused a lot of damage. Usually when Israel is sending a drone, that with one drone they have killed many Hamas leaders, many Iranians experts in Syria, but with an attack of more than 100 drones and more than 40 cruise missiles, it didn't kill a single Israeli. It is really, I mean, a positive. For me, at least.
So a mission accomplished, and today there were also reports from the American side saying that they are not going again to support their closest ally, Israel, if they want to retaliate or they are going to launch an attack against Iran. The case closed. First, Israel attacked the Iranian consular in Damascus, killing those two generals from the Iranian Revolutionary Guards, among others, and Iran retaliated, and that's it. Then it's going to have a stop, or these are only some political maneuvers, and after that, those attacks can continue, God knows till when.
I could call it, it was just a visit. The Iranian left with their business cards in Israel, and that's it, and they return, and the case is closed, and no more show. I mean, that's what a show. But in this respect, I want to hail our foreign minister, Ambassador Sameh Shoukry. He made a very important initiative when he called the Iranian foreign minister, and he called the American foreign minister to try to, not to mediate, but to ease the tension. And he hailed everybody just to try to ease the tension and lower the level of anxiety in the Middle East, because the last thing that the Arab world and Egypt want, it is an all-out war or a heightened tension in the Middle East, and to add more
Exactly, sir.
Oil to the fire.
Yeah, let me tell our viewers about what you've just mentioned. Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry held 3 phone calls yesterday with his Iranian, Israeli and American counterparts, Hussein Amir Abdullahian, Israel Katz, and Antony Blinken, respectively, and expressing Egypt's call to exercise the maximum self-restraints, and also renewing the Egyptian stance of being all the time in contact with all parties to try to contain the situation, because what had taken place is a threat not only to the region but to the whole world. Sir, if you permit me, I'm going to go with you to the emergency meeting of the UN Security Council, and particularly to the speech of UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. I remind all member states that the Charter of the United Nations prohibits the use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state, or any other manner inconsistent with the purposes of the United Nations. To whom this message was directed, sir, in your opinion?
I mean, it's one of the classic speeches of the United Secretary General Guterres. I do have deep respect for this person. He tried from the outset of the crisis. He made several visits and he tried to appease the tension, and he went himself to Rafah to see the suffering of the Palestinian. And in this case, in this respect, I want to hail the UNRWA. The UNRWA, I mean, it is an organization which lost a lot of its workers in trying to ease the suffering of the Palestinians. They are a very courageous organization, which of course was founded by United Nations resolution, Security Council resolution actually. And one of the resolution really, it bear fruits and it bear, a direct impact on the Palestinian population. And I do hope that they will continue their courageous efforts. In not in Cairo or Gaza, they are doing a great job in Lebanon, in Syria, in Jordan. So I mean, Guterres did a good speech, but I mean, he has no teeth, as we say. He is trying to give one of those classical speech, and it's up to the member of the Security Council themselves to act. It is time that the international community will act, not deliver only speeches and resolution and all those narratives, which it doesn't give results.
And to stop the double standard measures, sir. The double standard measures are really aching. It's a spot. I mean, in the face of humanity at large. And if you permit me to move to His Excellency Ambassador Ammar bin Gama, the Algerian representative in the UN, or representing Algeria as a non-permanent member of the Security Council, and had his speech yesterday. He spoke about the roots of the whole issue. He spoke about managing or treating or tackling the roots of the conflict, which is the Israeli occupation, which is the Israeli genocide war in Gaza, which led into other conflicts, and unfortunately the spillover the conflict to other parts of the region to be out of control. This is going to be a catastrophic situation which should be contained in the moment. I mean, now rather than an hour later. How do you see this, and how do you see raising this point to speak about the roots of the conflict in itself, not only what happened yesterday?
You know, you had a pile of resolution from 181 resolution of 1948, 242 resolution, 338, and the latest resolution of 2728. You have piles of resolution which doesn't come into effect because it doesn't have the teeth of implementing it. It is not issued according to the Chapter 7. The United Nations have even called and sponsored many conferences, starting from the Madrid Conference, through the Oslo Agreement, through many meetings in Cairo, in Paris, whatever. But the problem that the Israeli doesn't implement, and the Israeli is trying to find a breakthrough in each conference and try to destroy it. And even if they would agree, they were trying to find the cracks in the language itself, not to do what they have agreed normally to do it. And you think, you know, most of the implementation and the settlement in the West Bank of Gaza show that the Israelis doesn't have any plans to have the two-state solution. They are eating up inch by inch, day by day, the West Bank, to build fact of the ground and to make the two-state solution non-viable. So at the end of the day, the international community should pressure Israel through many means, like they did with Russia. Look, after the Ukrainian-Russian war, a pile and a different menu of sanctions and whatever was implemented on Russia. It didn't bear effects, of course, because Russia is an empire. But if they started imposing even nominal sanction, economic sanction, or travel ban on the Israelis, it will bear fruits. I'm quite sure.
Unfortunately, I think what you're talking about, sir, is a dream, not something which can be realized on the ground whenever the United States is there. But let me go to the other side of the coin and to some statements which were released by Vasily Nebenzia, Russian United Nations envoy, to echo what we have just mentioned regarding the double standards. We are witnessing a display of hypocrisy and double standards which is almost embarrassing to watch. I think it was the first time to listen to some very frank and direct accusations to Israel itself. Here, it's not only the United States, but to the Israeli side. Or this was intended to accuse the international community at large of implementing double standards. Hello?
Yes, I do hear you. Actually, the Russian, they have, do you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes,
the
sir.
Russian have seized the opportunity, of course, to display the double standard of the international community and the some permanent member of the United Nations. When it comes to them, they have implemented and proposed very harsh sanctions on the Russian economy. But in the same time, when it comes to Israel, all the condemnation is just a verbal condemnation. You don't see anything being enforced or anything put into action. So that's why it was the speech was a good opportunity to display the double standard of the international community, and all the players of the international community fell on a deaf ear on the American and on the Israelis. You have the Israeli machine continuous killing day by day. They even killed and injured 3% of the whole Gaza population. What the international community is waiting for to act.
The international community is trying just to be all the time on the safe side. And to echo what I've just said, Malta's Vanessa Frazier, the one who was holding the UN Security Council presidency this month, said that despite the fact that the session fell short of accusing any of the warring sides, she said that she believed the session contributed to de-escalating heightened tensions in the region, and the message around the council table was very clear that there should be no further escalation. And that's it. I'm quoting her, by the way. Was this the main aim of holding the emergency session?
It's just they want to find a verbal accommodation. You know, usually the United Nations Security Council, they are making deliberation always, and hours of deliberation to make a presidential statement or a statement just to find a verbal accommodation that it will not, anger anybody. And at the end of the day, they have this verbal accommodation, but without being implemented, as we said before.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And of course, I do hail Malta. Malta is a staunch friend of the Arab coast since a long time.
Yeah. One final question, sir, because we should return back to Gaza and to the Israeli genocide war, which entered its 192nd day. From the 8th of October, hundreds of thousands are displaced, martyred, wounded, you name it. Do you think that after what took place and after lessening the pressure on Netanyahu in specific, he is going to continue with his planned assault on Rafah?
He postponed the plan on Rafah for one reason. It's not out of love of the Palestinians or whatever, or out of fear of the international community, because he knows that if he goes on, he would create and he will double the pressure on Israel, and he will anger Egypt because we have warned very, very clearly that an attack on Rafah would cause humanitarian disaster on our borders. So that is calculation. And of course, the third calculation, if he go on a ground attack, he would be losing a lot of soldiers. And the loss of human life for Israel it is something to be taken on account.
Yeah.
Because he will be losing more votes and more internal support. So that's why he has postponed or canceled the attack on Rafah, not out of fear of more lives on the Palestinian side or being compassionate. No, it is an pure internal calculation.
Well, Ambassador Ayman Mosharafa, former Assistant Foreign Minister, thank you very much for your input, sir, and have a very good day. Well, right after the short break, we are going to return back with more, so stay tuned.